Greetings, shooters and reloaders. So I had a request on doing a video on how to clean a revolver. So I'm going to run through that quickly on how I clean it. It's not the only way, but it's the way I do it, and it works fine for me. So I'm going to clean this Smith & Wesson Model 625. So the first thing I do is, on this one, because I have some really nice wood grips on there, I like to take the grips off. And if you're going to do this, make sure you use a screwdriver that is made for gun screws, because gun screws are different. Otherwise you kind of bugger up the screw head if you use a regular old screwdriver from the hardware store. Alright, so the grips come off easy, just like that. Don't lose the screw. Alright, so now that the grips are out of the way, and I don't have, the reason I do that is I don't want to get solvent on there and ruin the finish on the wood. So otherwise you can leave them on. If you have rubber grips on there or something like that, you can leave them on. Or you can leave the wood ones on too, just be careful so you don't get any solvent on. But this way I make sure that I don't. The next thing I do is I like to use, now I don't know what this is called. I don't know the terminology on it. But I like to use this as the first thing that I run down the bore. And I like to use Hoppy's number 9. That'll work as good as any other solvent. Get a little bit of solvent on the patch. And then I run that down the barrel a couple of times. And what I'm just trying to do is just get the inside of that bore just soaked good with solvent. And then I run it through all of the chambers as well. And once you've done that, you can let the gun sit and soak for 10-15 minutes or so. And then what I do is I'll take that same patch and just go over some of the areas. Now this area here is called the forcing cone, and that's an area that gets quite a lot of powder residue, burn marks, a lot of wear and tear on that particular area right there. So get that good and soaked down with some solvent as well. And then I like to make sure the front of the cylinder, get that soaked down good, the crane. And then here's a big one. Push up your ejector rod and get that soaked good with solvent as well. And while we're talking about that, let me discuss something here quickly. People are under the impression that revolvers never jam, and that's not true, they do. And two of the most common places that they jam is, number one, right here, the ejector rod. Over time, that can come unscrewed, and then what it does is it'll hit against the end of the underlug here, and it'll prevent your cylinder from opening and closing. Okay, so you want to make sure that stays screwed in good and tight. The other area that is problematic is underneath the injector rod here. People fail to clean under there. I like to take a toothbrush and clean under there good to make sure that there's nothing under there. What happens is, and I've had this happen to me on the range when I'm shooting 3-gun and stuff, you'll get powder residue underneath here, and then this won't close all the way. And then what happens is your cylinder won't rotate. And if it happens in the middle of a shooting match or something like that, it can be very frustrating. But an easy fix is, and you can do this right when you're on the range even without solvent, is just take a toothbrush and clean under there and get any powder residue out of there. That's all it takes. All right, the next step is I like to use a jag. This is a jag. And so I take this off the cleaning rod. Make sure you're using a cleaning rod that's appropriate, made out of either aluminum or brass or fiberglass or something like that. You don't use a steel cleaning rod there. You don't want to damage your barrel. All right, so I take the jag. Now when you use a jag, it's important then to have the correct size patch. And actually, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Forgot the step in between. All right, take a bore brush, the correct size bore brush. Run that down the bore a few times. Okay, same with the cylinders. Run it in and out of the cylinders, chambers a few times. Okay, now after you've done all of that, then we take our cleaning jag and put that on. And then we take a patch. And like I say, it's important to have the right size patch or they simply won't go down the barrel. Run that through. I like to go part way out down there, and then I back it up and go up again. And I go back and forth a few times. And run it all the way through. All right. And now you can see how dirty that was. So we're going to do that at least one more time. And you could, if you wanted to, you could run more solvent through the barrel again and let it soak a while and brush it again and then run another patch through, and you can keep doing that till they come out clean. I'm not going to do that here on this video. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. But then you want to do the same thing for each one of these chambers. Run it through all the chambers. Until the patch comes out, fairly clean. Now, it doesn't have to be squeaky clean. It's up to you. And then you're going to want to, wipe everything down that you had solvent on. And again, you can use the toothbrush, clean everything. Give it a good scrubbing. And if you want to clean the burn rings off the end of the cylinder here, if it's a stainless steel gun, the best way to do it is you buy a product called Birchwood Casey's lead remover cloth. So it's these cloth packets you buy. I had some, I don't know where they are, if I still have them or not. But anyway, you take and cut a little square of that and you can rub it on here, and that will remove these burn rings on the end of the cylinder. But that only use it on a stainless steel gun. If you use it on a blued or nickel finish gun, you'll take the finish off. Now I'm going to share a little secret with you. So if you want to get your bore squeaky clean on any gun, this is a product. It's called JB Bore Cleaner. It's a non-embedding bore cleaner. It's a slightly abrasive, but let me tell you, this stuff works. It won't hurt your bore. It'll get it squeaky clean. So if that's what you're looking for, now you can clean your bore and those patches will come out perfectly clean, and you think, okay, I got a clean bore. And then you take and run this stuff through there, and it's absolutely amazing how much stuff comes out of there still. Okay, so if you want your bore perfectly clean, this is the way to do it. after you use, you know, the solvent method. Get it good and clean with the solvent, and then run this through. And there's comes out pretty dirty. So you can keep doing that until it comes out as clean as you want it to be. And that really is all there is to cleaning your Revolver. Now when you're all done, give it a very, very light coat of oil. So when I say light coat of oil, whatever oil you use, and that's up to you, they're all basically good. This happens to be a CLP by Break Free. CLP stands for Cleaner Lubricant Protector. That works fine. Another good product is Ballistol. That works good. Rim oil. That works good. They're all good. And so whatever one you use is fine. The big thing is put a little bit on a patch. The big thing is don't over oil it. A lot of people over oil their guns, but just give it a light, very light, you know, coating everywhere, and including down the barrel. You can put this on a jag and run it down the barrel a couple of times so that you, the inside of your bore is, you know, has a light coat of oil on it, and that's all it takes. Again, don't over oil it. People have a tendency to use too much oil on a gun, and here's what happens. The biggest thing is it ends up down here in the grip area underneath, and if it's wood, it soaks up all that oil over time, and it'll ruin the grips. I can show you grips from guns that are, well, 70, 80 years old, and they're just oil soaked from being over oiled for those many years. So it doesn't take a lot of oil. Just a protective thin coat is all it takes. You don't want it dripping in oil. And that's really all there is to it. You know, wipe it down good, put your grips back on, and you're all done. Your Revolver's ready to shoot again. So that's all for now. So until next time, shoot straight, keep your powder dry, and we'll see you on the range.